What's your favorite part of Infinite Magicraid? I'm betting that for many of you, it's pulling buckets of wishes. I've got more than 200 excellent and a bunch of supreme wishes, and I'm ready to pull them all right now. My free-to-play team on this account is stuck. I haven't been able to get them past Nightmare Stage 210. Ariel, Eden, Christian, Margarita, and Leah just lack the firepower, the gear, and the awaken levels to move forward. I'm gonna pull these wishes and put together a new team. A team that can get me to hell. I've been saving the shards for a while now, just waiting for an event to use them on. This weekend, we've got multiple events that I'll use to double dip the value I get out of these wishes. There's a wish rebate, a wish hero up, wish goals, and hero training grounds that are gonna pay me to pull these wishes. I need to pull them anyway, so it's extra value. Also, there's a double emblem event that I can use to make sure that my new team is fully kitted out. That's all good news. The bad news is that the IMR random number generator can be a beast. I may spend all of these wishes and get nada that I can work with, leaving me worse off than I was before. What I'm looking for are solid top tier legend heroes. While there are some strong epic heroes that I'll consider, I think we've got enough wishes to be able to count on some stronger talent. The question will be, of course, what do I actually get? Right now, I'm relying on Eden and Christian for support and heals. While they're both fine epic champions, I really question whether it is worth taking them to Awaken 5 and how effective they're going to be in the middle game. For me, Hell represents the end of the early game and is the introduction to the mid-game proper. I'm not blown away by the first 30 excellent pulls. There are some epic heroes, but none of them strike me as likely to make the cut for my final team. Sure, there's some duplicates that I can use as fodder, and the rest will no doubt be worth considering for the faction dungeon. But nothing here is making me jump right out of my chair. My first legend pull is coming up, and it's Karid. Now don't get me wrong, I like Karid a lot. His ability to remove and block buffs, as well as his solid chance to AE Horrify, can be compelling, but his DPS is on the low side, though that isn't uncommon for support heroes. My biggest concern, though, with Karid is that he's red mark. Ariel is my carry hero, and she's green mark. I'm going to be looking to expand the green mark presence on my team for the Mark Tower. Let's call Karid a solid pull, but I'm not convinced he's the perfect fit yet. Running through the remaining excellent wishes, we do get a few decent epic heroes, including Lester, Feist, and Magus. Lester is an AE damage dealer who also has a 60% defense down on his A2. That's solid, but he isn't green mark, and I think I prefer Margarita for AE DPS role. I'll keep him in mind, but I don't expect he's going to make the cut. Feist is interesting because he is green mark and would fit nicely on a team led by a green mark carry, but he'd be our only burn hero and needs to be stacking those burns to really push up the DPS. Maybe though. Magus used to be the strongest healer in the game and is still solid, but again, wrong mark. Finally though, after 100 pulls, I get an epic to get excited about. Liz. She's an incredible healer with an A3 that combines heal, cleanse, and shield. With the exclusive 3, that becomes a 40% shield. I've got the materials to get her there, so that's a possibility. She also adds a chance of HP burns on her A1, which is a nice bonus. About the only knock I have against her is she's yellow mark. But nobody's perfect. There are 35 more excellent wishes to pull, and about the only hero I'm actually excited about is Liz. Is this going to be a bust? No doubt Liz and Karid could help me out here, but would it be enough to push through Nightmare all the way to Hell? I don't know. We get down to the last pull before the pity system kicks in, and without picking up anything more exciting than duplicate epic heroes along the way. For the pity legend, we get Greta. Hey, Greta is a green mark attack champion with some strong support secondaries. She hits hard on her A1 with 3 times 100% attack damage and includes a small chance of freezing her opponent. Unfortunately, that chance doesn't improve with books, but some chance is better than none. Her A2 is nice, 360% attack damage on a single target, and inflicts Feebleness 2, which is a 40% increased damage debuff. I like that the text says inflicts rather than chance. I also like that it's an attribute debuff rather than a control debuff, which means it generally is going to work on bosses. That would pair very, very nicely with Ariel's hard-smacking single-target DPS focus. Greta's passive is to increase team resist, which is also a good thing, if a little uninspired. But Greta's A3 is a booming 600% single-target DPS, which is as big as Ariel's. Ariel has a bit more AE with her kit, but Greta's defense down and resists are nice. Greta is almost certainly a lock to make a hell-driving team. A few more excellent pull to finish those off doesn't get much of anything. Just some additional duplicate epic fodder. All that's left now is to pull some of those supreme wishes and see if we can get another legend or two to round out our final hell team. What comes up is Fritch, a green mark defense hero. He's a relatively new hero, having come out just a few weeks ago, and I don't know much about him, so let's dive into his kit. His A1 is a defense damage with a small chance of provoke. Fritch's A2 does AE damage to all enemies with a 40% chance of reducing attack by 40%. His A3 is where the real value is. He grants himself Taunt, which forces enemies to attack him, and beefs up his own survivability a bit with a 25% max HP shield, which can be booked up to 40%. His passive heals him and increases his turn meter whenever he takes damage. Now, I like this kit quite a bit. The Provoke and Taunt allow Fritch to tank, and he's also Yellow Mark, which means that he can keep the heat off Ariel so she can punish enemy heroes. If I take him, I'll build him with HP and defense, obviously. If he's gonna absorb damage, he's probably gonna have to be awakened as well. I pull the rest of the wishes, but I don't get any more additional legend heroes. I do get a duplicate copy of Liz, so that may come in handy in the future. The next step is to turn all this fodder that I've gotten into 5-star champions in the crafting hall. That way, I'm not going to be starting from scratch with the new team. So thinking about the heroes that we pulled with our 200 excellent and 13 supreme wishes, I think we've got the makings of a pretty good team to break through from nightmare to hell. I'm going to keep it based around Ariel as the carry hero, as I don't see anything better than her kit among the new heroes that we pulled. I want to focus on green mark as much as possible because the mark tower will eventually demand that I keep some focus on a single color to push up through the levels. To that end, Fritch and Greta are going to pair nicely. Fritch has that insane tanking ability and Greta has solid single target DPS and feebleness too. I think she'll form a nice group with Ariel and Fritch. That leaves heals and AE DPS as our remaining gap. I could use Feist for AE, as he has the advantage of being green mark, but even though she's off color, I think Margarita is going to be a better choice there. If that doesn't work, I may have to regress her later, but I'm willing to gamble. The heals spot really only has one choice, and that's Liz. She's heads and shoulders above Magus, who is my next best choice. The other advantage of Liz is that I've got 2 or 3 epic dragon eyes, as well as an extra copy of her that I can use to unlock that insane E3, which doubles the strength of her shield. Yeah, she's coming along. The only thing left to do is level everyone up, which I'll do with my stockpile of potions, gear them up with anything I already have banked, and then figure out how much to apply my now much larger set of 5-star fodder. Taking Ariel to Awaken 5 is an easy decision. She's already my carry hero, and I want to boost her damage as much as possible. If Fritch is going to tank for me, I think he's going to need Awaken as well. I'm going to take him up to level 2. But that's as far as I'm going to go. I'm not going to awaken Greta, Liz, or Margarita right now. I've got the resources to do it, but I prefer to wait and see where my weak spots are as I quest for hell. With all that said and done, let's go back to Nightmare 210. See how it goes. As you can see, it went pretty well. In fact, about exactly as planned. With a few wish pulls and thinking through team composition, I was able to overcome a barrier which had been stymieing me for a while. The only question left in my mind is whether this team can get through all 10 remaining chapters in Nightmare, and if so, how long it will take.